So you finally finished your first anime edit after watching this video and it ends up like this, which is okay, but we can improve it to make it look something like this. Hi, my name is PeeJ, and today I'll be showing you how to improve your transitions for scale edits in DaVinci Resolve. If you have not watched my first AMV basics tutorial, I do suggest you go watch that as it covers some of the bare bone basics to video editing. This video should help build off that video and what your result should look like after watching that video. So if everything's done correctly, you should have something that ends up like this. And as you can see, up to today's standards, it's kind of hard to watch, but what can we do to improve it? For starters, the first thing we're going to get rid of is the motion blur. It kind of makes the edit harder to watch because it's obscuring your vision, and without it you can just see more of the scene. In order to turn off motion blur, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Fusion, and on the node we're going to click settings, and then we're going to uncheck motion blur, and just do that for all the nodes that we did. Next thing we're going to do is fix our graphs. Currently the transitions feel pretty stiff, and if we go into Fusion and look at the spline graphs, you can see that the handlebars of our spline make a right angle, and that's not ideal to how we want our motion to look. So what we're going to do is loosen them up a bit like this, moving the handlebars away from the corner into a shape like this, or until we find a motion that we like. I would always try to aim for something like this though. Depending on the type of impact you want the edit to have, you might try to have looser or tighter graphs, but we're going to use these for now. And once you do it for this graph, we're going to apply it to the rest of our graphs. And before we go into the next improvement, big misconception that some people may have is the direction that they keyframe their zoom movement in. When doing a zoom in, people usually do the first part right, which is scaling into the clip, but for the second part of their transition, they mistakenly do a zoom out. This causes some sort of bounce zoom, which is not what you want to look for. You want to make sure that movement is going in the same direction the whole time, so look out for that when correcting your edit. Once that is done, you should have something that looks like this. And this is definitely an improvement, but now we're going to need to fix our values. Currently the transition moves the footage way too far, and we're showing a lot of mirrored edges, or what many people call motion tile, but we don't want to do that. It makes the edit look less professional the more that we show. So in order to fix this, what we're going to do is change the values or distance that the transition moves. Now after referencing many different sources for scale edits, I'll tell you the values that I like best. For the zoom in I have here, the start of the transition will go from a value of 1 to either 3 or 2. The second half of the zoom, we're going to start at a value of 1 and zoom into a value of 1.2. This will ensure that you are not showing any mirrored edges in the transition. Also, after you change these values, you may need to fix your graphs again to make them in the correct shape that we had before. Now for the slide transition, we're going to start off at the default center value that we have, and then we want to try and move the scene to about a quarter to a third away across the screen for a second keyframe. The values may change depending on the scene, but a good way to measure it is by hitting Ctrl G, which pops up a little graph on your viewer, which helps you measure the edge of the scene, which you can eyeball it to about halfway to the middle. Then we're going to go to our next adjustment clip and do the same, but on the other side until we get something that looks like this. For zoom outs, a little trickier because we're going to start at a zoomed in value of 1.2, then we're going to have our value go to 1, and then on the second half, we're going to start from around a value of 2 or 3, and then go to a value of 1. Those are generally what the values I use to make something that looks like this. The next thing we're going to fix is our keyframe placement. In AMV basics, I used to tell you just to keyframe at the start and the end of the comp for both the in and out of the transitions, but nowadays, if we want them to look better, what we're going to do is shorten the distance between the keyframes on our in parts of the transition. Now, if you look at these tutorials by Keaton and Brendan, you can see that they keyframe the in of the transitions with a smaller keyframe distance than however long the scene lasts for. For example, if you look at Keaton, he only uses a distance of 4 frames between these two keyframes for the in part of the transition. For me, I try to stick around 4 to 6 frames depending on how fast I want them to be, but any distance less than the halfway point should do. So I'm just going to fix that right now for all the in parts of the transitions. After, you should have something that looks like this, which is not too bad, but definitely better than where we used to be. We do have some parts that show motion tile for a bit longer than I would like. Try to keep it down to a minimum of 1 frame, but it's not too bad. Something that I always do when working in an HT composition like this is just to add black bars because it gives you a bit more room to mess up or increase values without showing any motion tile. Just take an adjustment clip, put it on your timeline, extend it across all your footage, go into the Fusion clip. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to grab it on our media in, we're going to add a merge node, then we're going to add a background node connected to our merge node, and then we're going to add a rectangle mask that's over here and connect it to our background node that's right here. Click on the width, and we're going to bring it all the way to the sides, all the way up to the number 1. And then we're going to actually hit it invert so we can see it in between here. And if we hit Ctrl G, bring up our graph again, we're going to go up to the second line that's right here in the middle, and that's where we're going to have our mask lie. So you just have a bar just like that. At this point, if you're happy with everything, I would try to add shakes and blurs to my edit, but I'm going to go one step further and spice up the movement from the regular left, rights, ins, and outs to the different combinations of them. For example, for the first transition, we just have a zoom in, but in my edit I showed, I go do a zoom and then I also go up. So I'm going to do that right now. Just go open the Fusion page, go to our spline, check our keyframes. You got it keyframed 6 keyframes back. We'll go to placement. And then we're also going to keyframe on the second transform. We're going to click the center value, and we're also going to keyframe it up to about where the city is. I might even make this value even go down to either like a 2 or even 1.5 if I'm feeling it, something like that. But so it has little more gradual motion, then we're also going to change the spline graph like this, highlight it, Control S, and then do a similar curve that we have over there, so all the curves will be the same, just like that. And then we have kind of some movement going up, just like that. And then we'll just do the second half of the transition. So since we are going up, we want to start lower than what we have already over here. So let's go to this first one over here. We're going to keyframe it from the start and the end. And we're just going to go down a little bit, showing a little bit of motion tile, maybe up to that right where the bar covers, because we know that's on the graph. This is where the bar is. And if we just go like that, and then we also need to change the spline as well. So Control Fit right there, highlight everything, hit S, bring it up just like that, and bring it down just a little bit. And then you have that kind of movement where it goes and just eases in. So if we play this back, there's some sort of movement like this. Even I might even make this value even go even higher. Now it matches a little bit better. And then for this next scene, instead of just going straight to the right, I'm going to go right and up. It's very easy to do this one because the scene blends very well. We don't have to show we don't have to hide as much motion tile because it doesn't even seem like there's motion tile. As long as we don't go past where we can see the next subject, that's fine enough. So instead of just having it go here, I'm just going to bring this up just a little bit. And even we do have room from our zoom in to go a little bit more if we want. But I think around there should be fine. I don't know what angle that is, but it should be fine. There's a little bit more different kind of movement. It's diagonal, and then we got to fix it on our next scene. Let's go to our first transform, going the other way. So we're going from the bottom. Let's just bring it up just like this. Make sure it goes to the line, or just below it. And then now it's that diagonal kind of movement. I should make it bigger so you guys can see. That's not too bad. Might even sharpen the curve to get rid of this, or also it's just zoom into the clip. So on this keyframe, it's just like 1.2. All right, now we have a little bit more room to work with, and we can just hide that motion tile even more. It's only it's just about one frame now. You can make the graph tighter, or since we actually are zoomed in, we could even go even further because we have a little bit more room to play with. Just like that. There's no motion tile even being shown, and there's enough room for the bars. A nice diagonal movement, and we're also going to do another diagonal movement again. And I'm not going to have as much room as before since I did move it up a little bit to the right. I'm going to go to our keyframes that are here, and then let's bring it down. And since the bar is still there, we can still go a little bit further, and that should be okay. And then we're just going to finish it off with the last clip. Go right here. Control G. We are zoomed in already because we have a zoom out, so we can go further down, just about around there, and it goes up to Mai's face, and then we don't go any further because it zooms out and we need all this space. Even though we're zooming out, we have bars. We do have enough. If we had to, we could go a little bit like that, but let's just reset that. Let's keep it out one to make it simple for you guys. And yeah, that's how you spice up the transitions. All right, now we have something that looks like this, and this is where I would add my shakes, my blurs, and my exposure flashes, which I have tutorials on if you'd like to watch them, but that should be everything if you put them together. If you learned something in this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button because it increases the chance for other people to come across this video, and it may help them as well. But if you have any more questions or suggestions on what I should do in the future, please let me know down in the comment section. If you'd like to join the Resolve AMV community Discord, there's a link in the description, as well as my own server if you'd like to join. And with that, subscribe and have a good day. All right, if you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate it, and you'll be rewarded because I will be putting a Google Drive link with a project file down below. You guys can see what I did easier. You can follow this video to help download the project file. All right, have a good day.